All right.
Is this on?
Yep, that is on.
And
I'm going to open up Audacity now and press record. So welcome to Bytesize Podcast.
First ever episode.
A show where you'll be getting big news bite-size. Yeah, so my name's Tally. Obviously, you know that.
Yeah.
I should be talking to you.
I know, it's weird, but I wanted to talk to you.
Right. So my name's Tally. If you don't know me, kind of a huge nerd, kind of have been for most of my life. You can thank my parents for that and the huge pores on my nose. So I obviously am really interested in things like alt culture in terms of, horror stuff and cool space stuff, and also like music and news and video games and technology, and so that's why I wanted to be here. And
Right.
Yeah.
Similar, but I'm Adrian.
Right.
Also a giant nerd. Starting probably in the early 90s.
Represent.
Yeah. I was born in the 80s, though. I just want to be clear about that.
Yep.
But yeah, just video games have always been a way of life and an escape, and I love them. I love them with all my heart. And I am also a self-proclaimed podcast addict. So it's fitting that I'm finally making one.
Yeah, making a podcast. I've always kind of wanted to do one. I tried it a couple of times, and then it was just kind of I really can't do this.
Yeah.
Woo, jeez. I guess I thought I couldn't, but I mean, now that we're sitting here doing it, I feel like it's a lot easier.
Cheers.
Cheers.
Definitely feels easier with a co-host.
Right, for sure. I agree with that wholeheartedly. Right, so I mean, if you want, we can just kind of jump right into it.
Yeah, so the podcast idea is we are going to be taking technology news, video game news, music, all the stuff that we like and feel that a lot of people like us like. And we're going to be finding the big headlines and making them bite-size.
Yeah. Small, digestible bits of news so that, you can listen to, people with opinions that are like yours and also formulate your own. Right now, I feel like is actually a really lucky time for us to be deciding to start a podcast because there's been a lot of stuff happening in the news in terms of tech news and game news.
Yeah.
GDC just happened, which is, of course, the Game Developers Conference that's held in San Francisco. So a lot of stuff came out of that. Also,
the Apple event.
Yeah, the big March Apple event just happened as well. So we're kind of go through that and kind of at least, pick at what we thought was most interesting. Starting with the Apple event. So this is kind of an interesting dynamic of the show. I am very much an Apple person, and
I never have apples.
No. So
I don't really plan on it, but some of this stuff is cool.
And I plan on doing so less so because of some of the information that I found out here. So with Apple's March event, there was a couple big announcements that were made. So the first one, of course, was the Apple TV Plus, which is going to be essentially a subscription streaming service that is offered to only Apple customers through the Apple TV app, which is native to pretty much all of your Apple devices. This didn't really interest me a whole lot.
It kind of seemed like elitist Apple bullshit to me.
Right, exactly. It was prepackaged, it's something that we've already seen before.
Yeah,
in a big way.
Nothing really called out to me. I pulled up the list of the announced shows and I watched not all of the keynote because
It was, yeah.
They were just jerking themselves off.
It was
And it was just like all these celebrities coming out talking about the shows that they're gonna be starring in and producing, and some of them did seem cool, but it also was just like not worth it to me to invest in yet another streaming situation.
Right. So I already have HBO, I have Hulu, I have Netflix, and I
have
also
Shudder,
have
too.
Yeah, I also have Amazon Prime. So like I am pretty squared up with Jesus Christ. I mean, I'm pretty squared up in terms of streaming services, and I did have an Apple TV up until recently because I bought it when it was tax season.
Oh, right.
Like
Those
extra
taxes.
right. I was like feeling bougie, you know, whatever. And I did like the idea of being able to broadcast any of my devices directly onto my TV because it's like a big monitor essentially.
Yeah. Well, and that's the thing that Apple does well, is they take all your devices and they make it seamlessly fit together, which is very appealing to a lot of people.
Yeah, very streamlined.
Now, I'm not super into it, but I can see how one would be.
Right, absolutely. And so what I saw is I can't see this being profitable, especially with that many big names and that many people coming in to like produce shows and content, if they're just gonna have it something that's like proprietary to Apple devices. I just really don't feel like people are gonna buy into that on top of all of the other streaming services that they already have. And even Amazon, you can have multiple streaming services inside of your Amazon Prime account so that it's just all available in one like small little package, you know, for the same price.
Right.
So
just a quick note about the Amazon Prime. Their user interface is fucking garbage.
Oh my god, their entire website is super terrible.
It's so bad.
Like, it's literally like, I don't think that the Amazon website has changed at all since it was developed.
And they don't need to.
But
They're our overlords.
I guess now, but like, and that's the thing is like, I'm a fucking UI person, so that's why I love Apple, and that's why I love the iOS, and like everything integrates seamlessly. That's why I really enjoyed it. I don't like fucking around with shit, like, and like tweaking little tiny details unless it's important.
Yeah.
Like, I mean, like sometimes I do. Like, there are definitely things that I'm very like anal about shit for sure, but like in terms of like something like a device there where I'm going to be like managing a calendar or a schedule or different applications for things like podcasting or streaming or things like that, like I definitely want to go with something that's like boom, right out of the gate. I don't have to fuck with anything. It's just ready, set, go. And everything, like Apple is designed for people who are not intelligent.
And show.
And that's okay. And it shows. No, but like, I mean, people that use it can be intelligent. I understand that, but like,
for sure.
The majority
there are so many people.
of older people, what do you see them with? iPhones.
Yeah.
Because everything is just super easy and super user friendly, and I'm super into that, and some people aren't, and that's okay.
Yeah. I definitely want to say I'm not one of those PC users that is like, if you're Apple, fuck you. I don't feel that way at all.
Apple shaming me.
Yeah, I don't feel the need to like have a war between PC and Apple.
Can we all just get along?
I mean, because they both have their pros and cons.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think that, I mean, the technology is almost exactly like, I mean, every year, it's kind of like that argument that used to go on about like which one was higher, like what was it, K2 or Everest. Every single time like technology would develop, like one of them would be higher than the other. Like that's literally what technology is like in terms of like mobile devices. And so I find it's like really pointless because honestly it just comes down to, well, it comes down to a couple of factors. It comes down to user preference, which is a huge thing.
Right.
And then also cost. I mean, like, are you willing to pay the price for easy?
No.
And kind of brainless, honestly. Like, I'm an Apple user, so like I like I'm not trying to like shit on Apple right now, but like,
that's their shtick, right? Like, that's what they're
simple,
that's
clean,
what they do.
Easy design.
And they do it well. They do it well.
Yeah, they do it really well. They do it super well, but I just can't. I can't see in a world where there are so many streaming services that are ahead of the game.
Yeah.
This is gonna go anywhere.
Yeah, because I even looked at the list of things, and, you know, like I said, I watched some of them, and none of them really...
Jennifer Aniston's Good Morning America,
Yeah.
essentially. like...
But Reese was there, too.
And Reese Witherspoon. I forgot about that. I actually love Reese
I do,
Witherspoon.
too. I recently rewatched Legally Blonde.
Oh, dude, okay. Let me talk about, really quick, the interjection. Elle Woods is a feminist icon.
I love her.
Thank you. Because, okay, let's be honest. Elle Woods never told anyone that she wasn't smart.
Right.
Ever.
Right.
She had a 4.0 GPA. She got fucking scholarships. She did extra classes. She graduated top of her class. She took the LSATs. She got an amazing score on the LSATs, which she studied and studied and studied for.
With the help of her, like, badass friends who supported her.
Exactly. Who may not have been, you know, in the same interest, but, like, definitely helped her.
Back
they
the
had
whole
her
time,
back.
dude.
Absolutely. And then she goes to Harvard. She gets into Harvard by herself.
Slays.
With the help of her friends, obviously.
Right.
But, like, she did it. It was her.
Yeah.
Gets into Harvard, you know, has a little bit of a rocky start, and then fucking kills it.
Kills it.
And on top of that, saves the day at the end of the movie.
Yeah.
And
With cosmetology.
With cosmetology.
Yeah.
All the while being criticized and ridiculed by people who are supposed to be, like, the more accepting and open.
Right.
Like,
because she wears pink.
Yeah, and because
she's
she has blonde hair.
Because she has a bubbly personality.
Right.
And because she had a tiny dog.
Yeah, and okay, she does come from a place of privilege, 100%. But I'm pretty sure, like, there's, like, even parts in that movie where she acknowledges that.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So I really wanted to take a quick break and say Elle Woods is amazing, and everybody should watch Legally Blonde, and actually really watch that movie. I got my friend Caden to watch it, or at least I hope he watched it, because I kind of went on a little bit of a tirade about that, because he was like, oh, I just thought it was about some fucking dumb blonde chick, and I was like, no, dude, that's literally the opposite of what it's about.
Yeah.
Anyways, I think it's gonna be hard for Apple to really
break
keep up
into
with
the
anything.
game.
Yeah, even break into the game. Like,
yeah.
I'm not gonna fucking, like I said, I'm a diehard Apple user, but
I'm gonna wait for the reviews to come out.
Yeah, right. I mean, like, maybe it's great. Maybe it simplifies things for people and it works, you know, a lot better or whatever. But I honestly I don't see it
dominating
anything. I don't see any way that it would actually generate any kind of revenue unless it was super cheap and open and not proprietary to Apple hardware.
Right. Because it goes back to being that elitist bullshit. Like, I own 0 things Apple.
Right. Yeah.
Even if I, like, loved these shows, like, how would I watch them?
Exactly. You would have to wait for somebody else to record them and then stream them illegally, which is not what Apple wants to do anyways.
Right. But it is what's going to happen.
Right. So it's either going to have to be, like, super cheap, like, so fucking affordable and open to everything else other than just Apple hardware.
Yeah.
Or it's going to have to be so goddamn fucking expensive that it's like, you know, it's
gouge.
Like a fucking, like a dime piece on your fucking chest. Like, I mean, like, like that swag, like literally a class symbol, which I don't think I support personally, but that's just me.
Although the only thing that did catch my eye was that Brie Larson has a CIA series. It's untitled right now, and I kind of love Brie Larson, but she's also doing cool stuff with Netflix right now.
Right, and that's the thing is, like, Netflix is, like, top of their game in terms of original content. Even Facebook has original content nowadays. Like, they just did a show with Catherine Zeta-Jones about pageant queens or something like that. Like I was telling you, like, I watched, like, one episode. I want to watch more of it because it was really good. I was surprised at the quality, and it's free. Like, this is something that's available for free. And then Hulu, I get my Hulu and my Spotify Premium for $10 a month. Yeah. Like,
you can't really beat that.
You really cannot beat that. Like, I don't see how this is going to work out for them.
Yeah.
So the next one that was moving into at least that stood out to me and that I wanted to talk about and that I was interested in seeing more information about was the Apple Card.
Yeah. The thing that I liked about it was the stats that they offered. Because I love looking at stats. I love a pie chart and a bar graph.
Girl. True.
Like, I love that stuff. I like to easily look at how I'm doing anything, but in this case it would be spending, like looking at that and just being able to just quick overview, look at what's going on.
Well, and also there's so many apps out there right now that claim to do that same thing, where they're gonna like take your bank account into account
Right.
and tell you like, oh, you're spending this amount of money on entertainment, you're spending this amount of money on food, you're spending blah 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 blah. But with Apple Card, it looks like there's also geotagging for everything, so
which is super dope.
Yeah, super cool. So you're seeing like pretty much in real time where you're spending money and what that money is going to, in case for any reason you had to look back and like, I don't know, balance a checkbook in the year of 2019. Like,
well, sometimes I like to just look through. I go through the local credit union here,
right?
And I like to just look through and be like, where did all my money go? And then be like, oh, I was at the bar 5 times this week.
Right, for sure. And then also just like if I'm at the bar 5 times this week, like not recognizing charges is like a big thing for me.
Oh my god.
Because a lot of payment processing, they use like little like acronyms for what they are.
It's shortened things, or it's just the LLC of whatever company they are,
right? So
which is not
totally
the same
different.
name of their business.
Exactly. So you'll get charges for like, I was like, what? But with this, it's like geotagged.
Yeah, you know
so
exactly. Well, hypothetically, you know exactly where it comes from.
Well, you may, you may not. It may make a lot more sense.
Yeah.
You may still not remember it, but you know that is what it is. The other thing that we were both looking into was the real-time interest.
Mm-hmm. The 2% daily, right? Is that what it was?
So that's the 2% money, like it's cash back, and it goes directly into your Apple Cash, which is part of Apple Pay system. So essentially, it's like a loadable. It's like a loadable Visa card, but it's stored inside of your phone, at least from what I understand of it.
Not my phone.
Well, my phone, not your phone. But what I understood of the real time interest is like, so you get your monthly bill and for any other credit card, and it tells you. This is the minimum payment, and this is how much you're going to be paying in interest, and this is how long it's going to take you to pay off that small amount. Now, I don't know about you, but I'm not a person that like
interested in
pays my minimum balance, and like I'm not going to pay, $15 for
nope. I want to pay
5 years
shit off.
Right, for just like a $300 secured Visa credit card. Like I'm not gonna pay that over 5 years. That's not.
No, I'm gonna just
gonna
eat ramen for a month and just pay that off.
Everything off. And that's the cool thing about this is like it'll automatically show you when you make your payments, like this is the percent of interest that you're paying based on the payment that you're making right now, and this is how long it's gonna take you to pay it off, which I thought was really cool.
Which I think that is pretty innovative because I haven't seen something like that
me neither.
in any of the other places that I've looked.
Right.
But I think it's going to drive the market in such a way that more people are going to offer something like that because I think it is such a valuable part of what they're offering.
Right. Which would be really good for Apple. Now this honestly, it seems like the card that has everything, and it looks like, I mean, other than probably having to have like an asinine credit score in order to obtain said titanium laser printed, no numbers cyber card.
Probably was like half a pound.
Right. Just like you just knock somebody out. Like
it's just melted iPhones creating.
Right. Jesus. But it seems like the card that has everything. Except for one thing that I noticed when I actually did some research on it, it's because we were talking about like every bank, like every card, like you need a bank to back it. Mm-hmm. Well, they're going with Goldman Sachs, who, if you don't know, I hope you know.
I do. Oh, I know.
You don't know. Goldman Sachs is actually one of the main banks that was responsible for the 2008 housing crisis, and actually admitted to knowingly misleading investors about mortgage-backed securities, which of course crashed the United States and in turn world economy. So that sounds like a joyous partnership.
Kind of a drawback.
Right, a little bit. And then on top of that, like even just like in 2018, they were caught up in this crazy like $4.5 billion like Malaysian scandal with like a company that misappropriated funds, and they just didn't know where they went.
Which I'm sure they did.
Right, but like also at the same time, like, you're just like, I don't know, like that really
Yeah.
doesn't like bode well for my confidence. Like, you don't want to like invest in your bank or like have anything to do with you
No.
in terms of my payments and my money.
It's a deal with the devil.
Right.
That's why you get all these cool stuff.
Right, exactly. And that's kind of all of Apple, I feel like. It's like, well, you're mine now. That's
Yeah. You're locked
Steve
in.
Jobs is just like plugging into you in your sleep.
Pulling the strings still.
Yeah. But that's kind of a downer. That's kind of a boner kill. Like I was really excited about that card. Like when we were first like watching the keynote address, which I guess it's not even technically a keynote. It was just kind of like a circle jerk for Apple executives and famous people in California. But kind of a downer.
Yeah,
kind of a not great. The next thing coming up with Apple, though, is the Apple Arcade, which I didn't really have a whole lot of high hopes about until I like actually started to like sit down and do some research into it.
Right. Looking at some of the games, there's some cool ones that are on the list.
Right.
I was like, I might be interested in that. Again, I probably won't be able to play them because I don't have
it's all
any Apple stuff,
which is shitty. But at the same time, it looks like, from what I could see, it looks like they're not only like bringing all of their independent games and everything like together in like one area, they're also like spending money to have developers, like people that worked on Final Fantasy, like these like crazy awesome developers, and then also a lot of indie developers come together to make games specifically for this platform,
which
that's
is super
already
cool.
going to be integrated into the App Store.
Yeah.
So I don't necessarily...
I feel like indie games are like on the rise right now.
Oh,
and
yeah.
I love a lot of the stuff that's coming out. So it's super cool that they have a platform now that they can that's really focusing on indie games and stuff like that.
Right. I feel like there's a lot of people that spend a lot of time on their phones doing, time wasting games. And I feel
Tap
like
games.
Yeah, essentially. And I feel like a lot of that space for really innovative games based on like story and art have kind of been overshadowed by like pay to play games that are just like essentially time wasters.
Yeah.
And I had seen a couple of things that a lot of people hope that this is something that's gonna like actually pull that apart and like make it separate.
Make mobile gaming like an actual
experience.
Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. Because, I mean, everybody's got a phone right now. I mean, half the people in this country have a phone that looks like it's the size of a tablet.
Children have phones right now.
Yeah, children have phones. Like, that's a big thing. And honestly, like, there's a lot of games out there that are really awesome for early development.
Mm-hmm. Well, and the other cool thing about the Apple Arcade is you pay the monthly premium, which I think is like $9.99 or something.
Right, that's not even that bad.
Yeah. And then there's no ads and there's no, like, pay to play, because a lot of people have problems with their like 7-year-old playing and then like buying a whole bunch of stuff.
Right,
so,
for sure.
Like,
it's all connected to your Apple wallet.
Yeah. So if you have a kid and wants to play games, I feel like parents will feel more secure because their kid's not going to be like purchasing, more energy or something.
Right, exactly. Which is definitely something that like I've almost gotten like caught up. Like, I'm gonna be honest, like what's that?
There are times when you're like 2 or 3 in the morning. Dude. I was all about that.
Dude, like I've been like drunk a couple of times and just been like, fuck it.
But I'm
like,
buying this dress.
Yeah, no, exactly. And spent like actual real money on like a thing that I.
And then you have a shame over the next morning because you're like, why did I buy a $2 digital dress for a game that I don't fucking care about that much?
No, it's bad. It's really bad.
It's like so embarrassing. Just like, fuck. God damn it, Kardashian.
My big thing is I know that a lot of it is going to be probably focused on just like artful stuff. I get that. Like I don't think that like the next best FPS is going to be on a mobile device, especially not an Apple mobile device.
Right.
Considering where Apple is, which is in the middle of the Bay Area in California. So probably not a whole lot of like it just doesn't seem like the vibe personally.
Right.
But what I want to know is like funny story, I went and looked up all this information on like the Apple website, and now they're advertising for the Nimbus made for iPhone controller.
Oh.
So it's like,
not
and that's
like
actually
that.
something that I was thinking about investing in until I'm kind of going to wait until we see what goes on with Stadia, because right now I actually have RPlay, so I can remotely stream my PlayStation to my iPad, and then I could use my made for iPhone controller to play video games at work. And that's like my whole thing. And so I might just wait until Stadia comes out before I invest in like a $60 controller for my iPad.
Yeah.
But who knows? I've been doing pretty alright with like the thumb controls, but like I can only play RPGs. That's like pretty much, and only like turn-based RPGs.
Right,
so
right.
it is what it is. So yeah, I'm excited to see if they have more innovations from developers, and
yeah, a lot of the games don't have videos right now.
right.
But I was looking
Other
at
than that one from the thing, right?
right.
Right.
But I was looking at the list, and there's one called Sneaky Sasquatch. I have
I'm
no
really
idea what
excited
it's
about
about, but I'm into that.
Yeah, I just had to hear the name of it, and I'm really
Also,
into
there's
that.
one called UFO on Tape, First Contact.
That one looks that sounds absolutely fantastic. Well, I remember like so I have on my iPad and on when I had my Apple TV, all of the apps are like all like cross-platform essentially, which is kind of what it sounds like they're doing with this.
Yeah, because it's gonna be. It sounds like you can do it for your whole family,
right?
so your
And
whole
on
family
any
can
device.
share. Yeah,
Any Apple device, anyways.
Right, yeah.
Which is the whole thing.
womp womp.
Wah, wah. But I have Limbo, which is an amazing indie game.
I haven't played.
Oh
it.
my gosh, I have it on my computer as well, so I can send you the
dope.
yeah, I'll let you use my Steam library or whatever.
Oh
Oh my gosh. But no, it's an amazing indie game. That's essentially like it's very simple. It's like a puzzle game, but it's like this kid like I forget. Well, it's been out for like literally years, but no, this like kid apparently like dies or whatever. Like we don't know if he's like dead.
Oh, he's
or,
in
like
limbo?
he's in and he's like trying to find his sister who like is like probably dead and like has to like evade all these monsters, but it's all black and white.
Oh.
It's like a silhouette too. It's like shadows. It's crazy.
Dope. Huh. So it's like you're really in limbo.
Yeah, no, it's
Cool.
it's really intense. I like it a lot. It's really friggin' hard on an iPad without actual like keys and anything like that. But no, it's a really really awesome game. And I'm excited to see stuff like that. So it's not necessarily going to be really a streaming service. It's going to be like you can download.
You have access
any
to
game.
over 100 games.
Right.
Yeah, that you can download for offline use.
Right.
Yeah.
Which is kind of counter what Google is doing.
Yeah,
with
other
Stadia.
side of the coin.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Totally opposite. I don't know how to feel about this one.
I am most excited for the instant access because
Right.
using Chrome, you can just find the game and it'll queue up. And I think they said like less than 5 minutes or something,
Right.
which is super cool for me because I've been burned by like this new game's coming out. I'm going to download it and play. And then you have to sit there for like 9 hours while
Well,
it
freaking
installs.
Red Dead 2.
Yeah.
Oh my god. Like, I was lucky because I am smart, unlike the rest of my friends. And I started downloading it at like 6 o'clock in the morning when I woke up.
Mm-hmm.
Because I had pre-ordered it. And then by the time I got home from work and like doing chores and everything like that,
Right.
It was ready for me to play
Right.
by the time I
Yep.
got
That's the
home.
way to go.
Yeah. But also that's like really super inconvenient.
Right, because
So.
when ArcAge came out years ago, I was looking for an MMO because I had given up hope on WoW because I had to break my addiction somehow.
Right, I totally did. I feel that.
So-
Not me personally, but I understand. I've witnessed.
So I was like super into it. I got off work and I started installing it, and then I went on a snack run. I got like Doritos and like so much Mountain Dew,
Right.
and I was just ready to go, and it wasn't installed until like 12:30 at night. And I was just like, what is my life?
I remember those days. What was it that it wasn't, was it like, Baldur's Gate wasn't online. I'm trying to think of what game it was that I played that was an MMO. I played Mabinogi for a while. which was by Nick Swor. It's a Korean company. That's super shitty.
That was very accurate.
I just don't remember the name. It starts with an N. Nexus maybe. I don't know. But it was like very much like anime styled, and that was like what I was into at that period of time in my life. And I couldn't afford WoW.
Right.
So I had to play like free to play MMOs that were like, if you wanted like the extra stuff, like you could seduce gentlemen on the internet and get them to buy you things, or we've all
done that.
And so it's just continued on into later life.
It's been real.
It's a whole ass thing, literally. But no, you could like convince people to like buy you stuff on the internet, or you could like, you know, steal your parents' like credit card and like buy things on the internet. It's like one or the other. Or if you were an adult, then you would just do without, unless you could.
Yeah, which is what I did.
Right, exactly.
Because I was like 21 years old with a full-time job and like 0 responsibilities. So.
Right. And I never like, I had a friend of mine who actually like legitimately like quit college because his roommate actually got him into WoW, and he didn't go to class. That doesn't anymore.
Surprise me.
He just stopped going completely.
Well, and like my addiction started in my life because my mom died, and then I just needed something to like delve into.
Right, holy God, Jesus.
It's nice out here today.
Welcome to the motorcycle capital of the world. Woo, rock on.
But yeah, I needed an escape, and so I just jumped into this online world and never came out until like 7 months later, when I was like, I should.
Ooh, look at how the time flies.
No, I gotta clean my house.
Right. Yeah. No, I've definitely been there, and that's kind of like why I've always really loved video games in general. Is that like it offers you an escape from, you know, the normal world where you can go into and you can invest your time into these characters that don't really have any kind of effect on your actual real life.
Right.
You know? But you still get to be part of this like crazy world that someone's created for you.
Yeah, which is super dope.
Yeah. Especially when you get into the social aspect of MMOs and stuff like that.
Yeah.
It's like, and that's actually kind of one of the things that I'm looking forward to see what's going to happen in terms of like cross-platform play and multiple.
Well, and like they were saying, like if someone's streaming on YouTube,
like a famous person, like a streamer, like
you can like jump in with them through YouTube, which is super dope.
Yeah, I am really curious to see how that works.
Yeah, right now I can't really wrap my head around how that's going to work.
Right, and I mean, I'm sure it would have to be like Google-sponsored streamers like that have signed up for that.
Right.
Like, I can't imagine like there's going to be like a whole lot of streamers that are just like okay with like, you know, Joe Schmo like, jumping into their fucking game, because like, I don't know, like me personally, like if I was like at, you know, a certain level, I mean, I'd probably kind of be upset.
Right. Well, I'd imagine there'd be like once you start your stream, there could be an option like, do you want people to jump in with you or not?
Right, for sure. There's that option. I'm also like, I did read more into it. It does look like there is going to be native streaming capabilities, but of course it'll go directly through YouTube, which is under Alphabet, which is Google. So that's going to be all wrapped up into one there.
Yep.
So that's good. But I mean, as far as I can tell, from what I gathered from the very little information that's available, we have no price point yet. But, you know, looking at your average, like, SCUF, like, top-of-the-line, like, really nice gaming controller for consoles, like, you're looking anywhere from, like, $75 to $200.
Right.
I'm assuming it'd probably be a little bit more on the pricier end because it is going to be Google-specific.
Yep.
But on top of that, I mean, from what I can see, it's literally going to be any device that you can run Chrome on, including your Chromecast TV, which you'll have to use the controller for.
Right.
But your
Chromecasts are dope.
I was an Apple TV person, so I don't know. Like, I've never.
When I lived at Boy House, we had a Chromecast. We had 2 Chromecasts in the house.
And they're super cheap. They're like
super cheap.
$25.
And you can just be like hanging out anywhere and just take it over. So if you didn't like what your roommate was listening to, you could be like, well.
Right.
I'm gonna bump you out of here.
Right.
But I'm taking over. So I don't have a Chromecast now, but
it's an easy investment for
Yeah.
what, like something like $25. Like it's really, and I've seen like you can do like survey rewards or whatever, like stuff.
oh my god, really?
Like, oh yeah, I'm really into like side gigs. Like I'm sure we'll have like
Dude.
an episode about side gigs because like I'm super good at that.
I tried survey rewards for an afternoon once, and I was like, I do not have time for this.
But you do, because I mean, like I do. Like if I'm like literally doing nothing, like browsing Facebook or like social media or whatever, like
Right.
I'm literally doing nothing with my time. Like I could at least be like working my way towards some sort of
Right.
reward or like a monetary.
But on the other
Whatever.
hand, like if you're on like a Facebook or a Twitter, you are doing something with your time. You're checking in on your friends, and you're doing
But
all
it's
that
literally aimless scrolling and shit posting.
stuff. Oh yeah, that's what you
That's
do. Yeah.
what I do. Like I am
Okay,
the
I see your
queen of
argument.
memes,
I see your argument.
but it's really because I have no life and I just look at the internet and laugh, and then it's like like that picture of the lizard. It's like
Yeah,
like,
yeah,
that's
yeah.
like literally me in real life. And I'm trying to do something with my time. So side gigs. That's where it's at.
Right.
But Google Chromecast, super cheap. Chrome, of course, is a free internet browser, so you can just download that.
Right.
I'm really hoping that they're not going to follow Apple and they're going to allow you to do it on Apple devices, because I have a bunch of those.
I feel like they would.
If they say any device that can run Chrome, and they're
Yeah.
basing this, like the home base of Stadia is going to be a website in general, like I feel like they have to open it up to
Yeah.
other devices.
I would imagine so.
Right.
We don't know.
Also, they want to kick Apple's ass, don't they? Like, it's fucking Google. Like,
Yeah. Exactly.
where's your war face, man?
Google is all of the major companies are elitist bastards. but,
Right.
But Apple is the most elitist, I feel.
Well, yeah. Well, no, I was telling you about the Linus Tech Tips thing where they were like trying to find they like, I guess they broke a computer or whatever. It was like one of their episodes on YouTube that I was watching. But they like broke a computer and then like tried to like send it off, and they were like, listen, we know it's not under warranty, we just want you to fix it because we don't know how. And they were like, nah, can't do it, might as well just buy a new iMac, dude, like sucks to suck. And it's like, dude, I like no, like I'm not gonna buy another $2,000 computer when
It's so
this is
backwards.
something that's super easy to repair. Which me personally, like, I would buy a replacement part and put it in. Like,
Yeah.
you know, you have, oh, hi, kitty. She's so cute. But I would just buy a replacement part and put it in the computer.
Yeah,
like,
that's
it's
what
super
most
easy
people
to
would do.
Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly. Like, you know, burn out something. I mean, unless you fuck up your motherboard. But even then, you just take the
buy a
rest
new
of it and
motherboard.
put the rest
Yeah.
of the stuff back in. So it's whatever.
Yeah.
But I just don't. Every day I stray further from Steve Jobs' light. Eventually I'm gonna be like rocking like a fucking Samsung Galaxy
You will.
Note, and you know.
Yep. Join us.
But no, Stadia looks like something that's actually really innovative. I was really doubting the effect that it would have, because PlayStation, I'm not an Xbox person. I don't do
I'm not
Xbox
either.
or anything. So I've heard tell that they have like an Xbox Play Pass that's like essentially the same thing as PlayStation Now. I do have a PlayStation 4. I game mostly on a PlayStation 4 or on mobile, actually. And so I have PlayStation Now, which is essentially just a streaming service for
Right.
video games, and I've had no problems with it. I've had no problems with like losing frame rates or lag or anything like that. I have really good internet, so that might be part of it. But I've been really satisfied with it, and it's like, I don't want to. I think there's going to be a lot of things that determine how successful it's going to be, one of which is going to be price point.
I'm curious what their infrastructure is going to be when they release, and how often that website's going to go down.
Right. Well, they were saying that, like, a couple articles that I read, they said they were coming out with this, like, crazy server.
Dude, that's what they
video
always say when they release
card.
stuff. And without fail,
Right.
the first several days, everything's down.
Right. I remember, do you remember Google Glass?
Yeah.
Oh, man. I was really excited for Google Glass. And then, do you know what? Everybody, hey, I want a HUD display. Of course.
Yeah,
absolutely.
of course.
I want to be able to walk down the street and be like, hey,
people
Google,
walking around like,
what's the fucking weather look like today? And then just be like, the weather looks like blah, blah, blah. And then have like it in a heads-up display. That sounds
would be
fucking
super dope.
dope as fuck. I was really excited for it. And then everybody started calling Google Glasses. And that just sounded lame.
Yep,
and then
it really
died.
did. Yep,
So
because
maybe the population
that was like
killed it.
too geeky, I think, is what it was.
Okay, it's ahead of its time. It's ahead of its time. One day soon.
When they create contacts where you can do that.
Well, I think they're trying to do that already. Like,
Yeah.
they're trying to, like, put, like...
When they figure that out, I will jack in.
Yeah?
Did you read Neuromancer?
I didn't, but I read Snow Crash.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. I'm super into that.
Right. Scott... What's his name? What's his last name?
I don't know. Pilgrim?
No, the guy that wrote Snow Crash, and it's like something Scott or Neil Scott. I don't know. Now I just lost all my fucking nerd cred.
Neil
Stephenson. There it is. That's what it is.
Yeah.
Is his middle name Scott?
It doesn't say.
Oh fuck. Well, there we go. I've lost all of my nerd cred, so there you go. But no, I'm ready for it, and I'm ready for Stadia, and I'm excited to see.
Yeah.
I think what will probably most likely happen is we're just going to see a lot more details come out at E3. So probably a price point and a release date.
Yeah.
As they have said that the release date will be in 2019.
Okay.
As long as everything goes to plan.
Yeah.
Which
we'll see.
Yeah, you never know with good old the goggle machine. Yeah, so PlayStation is, kind of cornering that market right now. Stadia might have like a leg up on that. Microsoft has got its own edition of a streaming service, so at this point it's kind of just a race to see who does it the best.
Right.
And the cheapest.
Which is exciting. I love all of the video game races.
Free market capitalism.
Yay.
I mean, I'm not a huge fan, but in terms of video game, like that's kind of like technology and science and innovation. That's like such a huge thing that influences our world, and I think that's really important. But right now, I do know. So, like I was saying, like the price point for most of the streaming services, the game streaming services that are available right now, is like $20. Like I pay $19.99, I think, for PlayStation Now.
So hopefully it's comparable.
Yeah, you would think that it would be comparable. And then I mentioned the Scuff controller because like I can't imagine that they would make it more than $200, because the thing is, like, if it's more than $200, there's no fucking way that I'm gonna buy another $200.
The average person's not gonna fucking buy that.
No, absolutely not. No. Not when you still have your PlayStation or your whatever, and that's something that's a piece of equipment that does essentially the same thing. I mean, like, it doesn't have as many gigaflops or whatever, which is a great term, by the way.
Gigaflop.
I'm super excited that somebody decided to do that. As the Stadia, which is 10.6 or something like that, and like streams in 4K at 60 FPS. But on top of that, you also have to look at like
it's 10.7.
Oh, 10.7 teraflops is what it is. I knew it was something flops, which, I mean, that is what it is. But no, I'm really excited to see what happens, and I'm really excited for all of the rest of the games that are coming out this year, and I'm really, really excited to see what E3 brings.
Yeah, I'm super stoked about all of the Switch releases that are coming out this year, because I have a Switch, and I only have like a small handful of games. Right. So,
and there's I don't know, I don't have a Switch, so I don't really know. Does it have like obviously, are you downloading games onto the platform, or are they all...
I'm buying the cartridges.
They're all cartridges? Yep. Okay, for sure, I feel that.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know much about the Switch. I don't have one. I know that I fucking crush it on Mario Kart for the Switch. That is for damn sure.
It's so fun. We even have the little, like, wheels where you can plug your little controller in. It's super dope.
You still have that for the Wii.
Yep, totally have those too.
Oh god, I saw a tweet earlier today that was like, somebody like having like an argument with somebody on Overwatch and was like, why can't you heal? Like, why can't you heal? And the like person that was supposed to be healing responded with, sorry, I'm using like a USB like steering wheel to like I don't know, just the way that it was like
wow,
really perfect.
That's bold. Bold move.
Great comedy fodder there. It's really nice. But it was like a screen cap of like someone's play, like someone's in-game chat. So somebody like legitimately said that in real life. Jesus. I think I would probably piss my pants. Just like, that's so fucking funny to me.
Don't even know what to say back to that. Just like,
no, it's like, all right, well,
I mean, makes sense.
Here we are. No, I'm excited. I'm hoping to get a Switch as soon as possible. It's another $300 console that you have to buy when I already have one. So, and I'm also working right now on like building a gaming PC, which is a whole endeavor in and of itself. So that's, I mean, mostly for the releases that I've seen. I've been looking at this next coming month, so April, and mostly just stuff that's going to relate to me on PlayStation 4.
Right, like Catherine.
Like Catherine! Oh my god, I'm so excited for Catherine. I played the shit out of Catherine. I played
did too.
So much Catherine. I got all the endings.
Loved it. So you said it's just going to be a remastered version? Is that what's going on?
So from what I've seen, and I could totally be wrong, and I hope I'm not because this is supposed to be a news show. But from what I've seen, it's going to be a little bit of a remaster, and then they're also adding more like story content, so that you're going to see like a little bit more behind the scenes of what goes on between Vincent and the Catherines, which is super exciting because I love that shit. What is it? The same company did Persona, right?
Right.
Yeah,
I believe so.
So that'd be. I'm super excited for that, especially because, you know, the puzzle game itself was like super cool, but I think like the interactions and like choosing like
and that was my break-in game to puzzle games. I had never puzzled before that.
Did you never play like Legend of Zelda?
Not really.
What?
Not until later in life.
Oh, okay.
When I was growing up, I didn't play that. So when Catherine came out, I think I got it just as a I think at a pawn shop, and I was attracted to the cover, and I was just like, oh, okay, I want to see what this Catherine's about.
With the boobies and I was like, the hair,
I'm into this,
and the ribbons,
yeah. So I played it. I didn't know anything about it. I just found it, and it was such a nice meeting of like things I was already used to, and like puzzle games, and that led into.
And also the puzzle game was super fun and engaging, and I like those kind of puzzle games specifically. Like stuff that's more complicated, obviously I like that too. Obviously like the Legend of Zelda games, and then other puzzle games. All puzzle games are great. I can't think of any others right now to name off the top of my head, but you know, that is what it is. But no, Catherine is super, super awesome, so I'm excited for that one.
Yeah, and that's coming out in September.
Yeah. But coming out next month, couple more throwbacks on that. We've got Final Fantasy X and X-2 remaster, and that's also coming to the Switch.
Is it really?
Yeah,
it's coming to the Switch.
Yep, so it was already released in like 2013 for PlayStation 4, I believe.
So now it's coming out for, I see it, from the Switch and the Xbox One.
Oh, 2017, not 2013. I don't know where I was getting that number. But it was already released on PlayStation 4, obviously, because Sony has kind of like all of the ties to Final Fantasy in terms of like big stuff. So it was already released in 2017, I want to say. And they're set to launch on April 16th. And then my favorite game in the entire world, my favorite Final Fantasy game anyways, is Final Fantasy 12. And that is also getting a release on Xbox and Switch with the Zodiac Age, which is kind of like a remaster. It's not actually a remaster, like, it's not a full remaster anyways. It is actually based on the Zodiac, the International Zodiac job system, which was originally released in Japan only when the game launched in 2006? 6?
It was after 6.
Are you sure?
Yeah, because I remember making nachos.
Well, I know that Zodiac Age launched after 2006, because the regular version launched in Japan and in America, and then they launched the Zodiac job system, which I am actually right now on my own personal Twitch channel streaming a speed run of which I can leave a link in the description for if you're interested in doing that. I play early mornings because that's who I am. So if you're in England, you're gonna love me because I play at a normal hour for you. But that's also coming out to the Switch and Xbox One, so that's exciting for a lot of people. I have my friend Jesse in Baltimore is like so excited because it's his favorite as well. And he doesn't have, no, he has a PlayStation. I have a PlayStation 2. I'm just kidding. Not a lot of people have a PlayStation 2 anymore, and so it's kind of like hard to get your hands on copies of stuff like that. So.
Right. So
I'm excited about.
Yeah, I'm super excited to play 10-2 again because I was a sucker for that when I was when I was a young teenager,
whippersnapper, if you will.
Also coming out this year, I don't think it has a release date, but I'm super stoked for the Untitled Goose Game.
Oh man, you showed me this earlier.
My friend Erin showed me the game, and she talked to me like I already knew what she was talking about, and I was like, I have no idea. I don't know what that is. What are you talking about? What is its name? She's like, Untitled Goose Game.
Literally.
So it's really just, you play as a shitty goose and you attack the people of this village, and it looks super silly. Really, that's what it looks like a time waster, and I'm into it.
Yeah, absolutely. I like time wasting games kind of like that. I love geese because they're dicks. Like, have you ever like met like Canadian geese
so
specifically
shitty.
are just like such dickheads. Like they will. I used to live in Tahoe, and there was this restaurant that was like right on the beach, and like they would come up and like bully you until you would give them food.
Fucking
like
dicks.
They're assholes. So like any life where I get to live that lifestyle, like I'm pretty excited about it.
Well, and I've seen people like on the internet, like I think there was a video going around of this guy like punching a goose, and so many people were like, oh my god, that poor goose, and everybody that's experienced them were like, no, that goose probably deserved it. That goose was probably a piece of shit.
Exactly.
They're mean.
They're not fun creatures. Even like non-Canadian geese, but Canadian geese are really fucking big, so they're dicks and big. They're big dicks.
They're big dicks.
They're big dicks, and that's it's really tough for me to deal with. But I mean, we're seeing. I mean, I kind of mostly focused on just like this coming month, just because I am a instant gratification person and I want things right here, right now. But there's a lot of really awesome indie titles coming out. Like there's a civilization building game that actually just switched. It was gonna be released on Steam, but now it's gonna be released in the Epic Store, which is a whole other thing I'm sure we'll touch on in future episodes. Called Anno 1800 for PC, and then we've also got new classics or older classics being brought back to new consoles, like the Ace Attorney trilogy is coming back this month as well. But we also have Mortal Kombat 11, which I grew up with Mortal Kombat. Yes. I remember playing like Mortal Kombat 3. I literally just kicked some guy's ass at the arcade on Thursday, playing Sindel and Sonya Blade because they're my girls. But I love Mortal Kombat, and I've always loved Mortal Kombat, and it really never I never thought that the first thing that I would see about supposedly the most next level, most gory, most like in your face, most intense Mortal Kombat to date, I never thought that the first news story that I was going to see was going to be about how people are bitching about the female attire of the characters, and not because they're more naked than they were originally, which I don't know if that's actually physically possible, but it's actually because they're wearing too much clothes.
Come on. Like, fucking eye roll all over the place. I'm gonna say it, I'm a little let down. I'm a little let down by the gamer community by that.
Right. And I try, okay, so me personally, have a little bit of the gay.
Me too.
You have to, because women are hot. Women are super hot.
You can't get around that.
You really can't. Personally, I identify as pansexual, which is not it doesn't matter. But I have never had a problem with titties in video games. Like, I really don't care. I think it's great. I have because of the culture and the generation that I was raised in, I have weird sexual attractions.
I can say that the reason I got into, because I was a casual little kid Nintendo player. We had a Game Boy. But I can honestly say that the reason I continued on into video games was because of Lara Croft's titties.
Absolutely.
I watched my parents play that game on PlayStation 1, and I didn't know what I was feeling at that time, but I was just like, I gotta play this game.
Lara Croft's titties.
And I'm replaying
yeah,
Tomb Raider 1 right now.
Yes, I tried it, and the
controls are fucking garbage.
I can't.
And I'm playing on PC, so it's just like everything is different.
I bought it on the PlayStation Store because I was like, it was like $5, and I was like, I fucking have to. Like, I literally
and
have
then
to.
when I posted that picture on my Twitter of Lara Croft's titties, and they're just triangles. But back in the day, like those fucking triangles, dude.
So good. But that's the thing is like I've never had that. And
I
would say that I'm a feminist, you know?
I'm having a weird moment where I just realized that triangles are my favorite shape.
Shape of boobs?
No, just...
Oh, just like in general. You should hit up Tyler, the creator. I hear he's really a big fan of triangles as well. But no, like, I would say, personally, I'm a feminist, absolutely.
Oh, yeah.
There's no real question about that. I think that feminism is more about equality than one gender being better than the other.
Right.
But
which is just not true.
Right, exactly. We're all here and we've got what we've got and we have to do it together, right?
Yeah.
But I've never ever been offended about titties in video games. In fact, I have, oftentimes been really excited about it in a weird kind of
I've definitely watched
way.
I've definitely watched the videos of like game mechanics where they're just like zooming in on the tits and they're just like jiggling.
Right, just like weird game physics, like
it's important.
It is.
That's science.
Very important. Lara Croft's titties.
That's the name of this episode.
Yes, absolutely. But I think more than anything with like the whole Gamergate thing and with everything that's like come out about, provocative dress in video games, I have been more let down by how the male gaming population has come out. Like, and it's not all of them. Obviously not. Like, not all people are douchebags.
It's just the loudest ones, it seems to be.
Right. It's like, why is it that when I am trying to do research for a podcast about something that I'm interested in and something that I've been following since I was a kid and something that I was raised with and that I love, why is it that if I Google the words Mortal Kombat 11, the first thing that comes up is people are pissed off. Men are pissed off about the fact that women are no longer wearing bikinis in in-depth battle sequences when people are getting their fucking tits sliced off. Like, it's a real fucking thing. Mortal Kombat is bloody and gory as shit. Mm-hmm. Nobody's trying to fight in,
little tiny...
that. Yeah. I mean, maybe they are. Maybe that's what Scarlet wants to wear when she...
We don't know.
Blood vanishes through the air. But that's her choice. That's not my choice or anybody's choice, and it shouldn't fucking matter.
It really shouldn't. And it literally has nothing to do with like gameplay or anything.
No, and I've heard really amazing things about like the beta testing for Switch and how everything is like integrated super seamlessly, so it's gonna like be something that you can just continue to pick up when you're on the Switch. Like, I've heard so many really amazing things about it, and it's really fucking irritating as a female to like have to go through that shit.
I'll get it for us and we can play on the Switch.
And then we can stream it and you guys can watch and it'll be really great. So that I just had to like take a minute to like stop and talk about how shitty that is, but also how amazing Jesus. I'm really see, it's all going back to Tifa. Those were some interesting polygons she had there. That is for sure.
I love a polygon.
But no, how amazing Mortal Kombat's gonna be. And also they've added like a lot of in-depth character creation stuff that you can do, which I don't know, we were just talking about earlier.
I'm a freak for character creation.
Dude, so much. Both of us play The Sims.
Yeah, it sets up your character and what you're gonna do with that character. Like for me, like I always think I give them a backstory in my head.
Yeah,
and I'm absolutely. Like, this is what. No, she wouldn't wear this. Like,
right.
I'm super into it.
Well, so there's this my friend Phil, actually, he had this this philosophy that, like, when you're snowboarding, which I do, you can be, like, pretty good at snowboarding, but, like, the extra 10% comes from, like, your steez factor, which is, like, style with ease. So, like, if you are pretty good at snowboarding and then you actually, like, you really like how you look and you think that you look cool, you're, like, 10% better than you are. You know what I mean? So, like, character creation has, like, a lot to go. You're investing your time into a character that you're then gonna, like, play with and
right. It just makes sense.
Yeah. It's pretty awesome, and it's, you know, it's something that I'm really excited about.
Yeah, I see that Cuphead is coming out for the Switch
this month. It's exciting.
So I'll probably pick it up.
Oh yeah, I've seen lots of videos. I mean, I haven't played it personally.
I haven't played it either because I didn't want to play it on PC. I don't know why. I'm mostly a PC gamer, but there are just some games that I see and I'm like, I'm gonna wait. Like, it doesn't feel like the right console for me. So I feel like the Switch, it's gonna be, to me, makes more sense.
Right. So we're at an hour here.
Oh, right.
Do you want to continue, or do you want to wrap up with what we're playing right now? Because this has kind of been very video game centric.
Yeah, let's just do a video game one.
All right. What have you been playing recently that you're, like, super in love with?
So, throwing back to The Sims.
Yes!
They just came out with a new game pack, the Strangerville game pack, which is super cool because you get a new neighborhood with it.
Okay.
It's a smaller neighborhood, so it's not like a fully developed one. This is for The Sims 4.
Right.
So it's a smaller neighborhood. You get, like, a new bar and a library and stuff. But what's going on in it is a lot of the townspeople are, like, infected, and they walk all crazy. They look insane. Their eyes are, like, all crazy. They say weird stuff, and they're fucked up. They, like, walk all fucking weird, and, like, there's all these, like, spores in the air and stuff.
Oh man, that's nuts.
And, like, when you go to the bar and you, like, meet new Sims, it says, like, conspiracy theorists under their names and stuff like that.
Wasn't Strangeville in Sims 2 as well?
Yeah, yep. They had one of those in The Sims 2. So it's cool because you get to, there's, like, a little mystery that you have to solve, and there's, like, a boss fight that you have to do in The Sims. So that's pretty fun.
That's really exciting.
Yeah. I wish it was more, though. Like, it doesn't feel like they went as deep as they could. It feels kind of empty, which is why I think it was just a game pack, like, instead of a full expansion.
Right.
It was just a little one-off thing.
Boop, like, add-on.
So you get new traits, like the paranoid trait, which is fun because then you can make your own conspiracy theorist, and then you can talk about conspiracy theories and stuff like that. I also have the get together game expansion, so you can create groups. So I made a conspiracy theorist group, and they just get around and, like, talk about conspiracy theories.
That's dope. That's actually really cool.
So that's what I've been playing recently.
I picked up Fortnite when it first came out, and I played, like, a little bit of it, and I was like, Battle Royale is not the mode for me. Like, it is not my thing. And especially with Fortnite, like, it's a huge fucking learning curve because you're, like, having to build shit, and, like, I am just really trash at Fortnite, essentially. I've played a couple of good games. I have won Battle Royales. I have.
Let it be known.
Let it be known. I, Gumby461, have won Battle Royales. It's a real thing that I have done. Or Victory Royales, like, or Victory, whatever I don't fucking play Fortnite, so it doesn't matter. But I'm really trash at it, and I thought that, like, I just really didn't think that Battle Royale was a game mode that I was going to be interested in. And then Apex came out, and I downloaded it literally the day it came out, and I played it for maybe 3 hours. And I was like, fuck this game. It's a fucking piece of shit. I fucking hate this game. Fuck this. There's a lot of F words there, so I'm sorry. But I was really upset because I was like, this is super stupid, and it's, like, just another battle royale. This is dumb.
Right.
Well, it turns out it's, like, a lot better when you, like, play with your friends and, like, people that you know. Because I've been playing it with a couple of friends that I used to play Overwatch with, still play Overwatch with, on PlayStation 4. And I've kind of Overwatch is a really interesting game. Most of the time I play support anyways, so I have a lot of characters that have like auto-locking ability, so I don't have to worry about aiming a whole lot, which is like my main problem. Like back in the day,
I can't.
Back in the day, I did play CS:GO for a while, and I did play Team Fortress 2 was a big one on Steam as well. And then I did play a lot of Call of Duty, like a fuck ton of Call of Duty.
I was obsessed with Call of Duty.
So much Call of Duty. So I did used to be able to aim, like, once upon a time. It's just like...
It's a skill you have to keep doing.
Oh, boy. Oh, boy, howdy is it.
And I feel like it changes from game to game.
Oh, it really does. And, like, so I've kind of, like, looked up a couple tips on YouTube about, like, how to make yourself better at aiming in Apex specifically. So I've definitely kind of, like, gone out of my way to get good.
Get good.
Get good. I really want to get that tattooed on my thumbs.
Dude.
So, like, when I'm, like, you know, like, it's kind of lame, but I thought it might be cool a little bit. I don't know. But I've been, like, trying to, like, so I won my first, because it's the new season, so it's officially in seasons now for, not competitive play, I guess competitive play.
Right.
I really don't know how the Battle Royale systems work. Because there's like battle passes and like weird point systems, and so it's not like straightforward like Overwatch where you have like a skill ranking and that's where you're ranked, you know, competitively in terms of how good you are. Like that's very straightforward, whereas the Battle Royale games are like not super straightforward.
Right.
And I also just don't really care that much because I'm just having fun and it's a free game.
Yeah.
But like that's the thing is like it's a free game and it is incredible. Like there is systems in place so that you can ping where items are and you can request items without actually being on mic. So if somebody needs something, they can just ping you for it so that you know, like, if you look for it and you see it, you can ping them and be like, hey, this is over here. Or there's enemies over there. Or let's go this way. Or let's land here when we're getting out of the ship. And then there's also a respawn system, which is super awesome, which is something that I hate about Fortnite, is there's no respawn system.
Right.
So, honestly, I just, like, for a free game... Holy shit. Like, Apex blew it out of the park. And I don't even like Battle Royale games. And I'm hooked. I can't stop playing.
And that's honestly why I haven't tried it at all, is because it's so not my style.
Yeah.
It took so much convincing from my friend John to play Overwatch. Like, I would go over to his house between classes and, like, watch him play, and he would just convince me and convince me and convince me. And then I finally got it and started playing right as he stopped playing.
Yeah.
But I was like, fuck it. I was hooked at that point. So.
Right. And that's the thing, like, I had a roommate that played it on PlayStation 4, and I was like, fuck it, dude. Like, there's no way I'm going to invest $40 in a game that I don't know if I'm going to like. And
exactly.
I'm not usually, like, a person that plays this sort of game anyways, because I'm kind of, like, a weird fucking weeaboo nerd, and I play, like, mostly JRPGs.
Dude, same.
That's my whole life.
Yeah.
Camera died. Oopsies. Anyways, so Overwatch was doing a free event. Like 2 years ago now, in October, and my roommate, who was obsessed with Overwatch, was like, hey man, download this game, because it's free right now.
Right.
And so I did, and then after that it was like $20 off, so I was like, okay, I guess, like, I fell in love with it during the free week.
Yeah.
And then after I was done with the free week, I was like, okay, yeah, I have to buy this. Do you need another
No, I'm good.
Okay. I'm so sorry. I spilled beer. It was bad.
So much stuff.
The camera stopped recording, and then I spilled beer, and then we had to clean up said beer, and now we're here, and you're there, and I am me, and you are we, and we is she, and we are all together.
Legion, we are many.
Yes. Yeah. So, well, I guess that's
it. That's a wrap for the first episode.
That's it. That's all. You can follow us on Twitter at Bytesize Podcast, and also on Instagram at Bytesize Podcast, or you can email any questions or comments, hopefully positive, to bytesizedpodcast@gmail.com. If you have any, comments or things that you'd like to see in the future, or, relate to any content that you enjoyed, go ahead and comment down below. And yeah. Thanks for watching.
Thanks for being here.
So scheduling wise, We're hoping to alternate, every 2 weeks on Mondays for a podcast and video release, and then also be doing live streams of couch co-op games that we're playing right now, new stuff that we're trying out, that sort of thing. So stay tuned for that. We'll have more information in the video description.
Yes, hopefully Mortal Kombat.
Hopefully Mortal Kombat. I'm really excited about that one. But all right, see ya.
Bye.